The recoil of the 22 TCM, especially in this full-sized government model 1911, is somewhere between a 22 long rifle and maybe a 380 auto. The Rock Island Armory Tcm Tack Ultra Combo is a full-sized 1911 in two calibers, 22 TCM and 9mm. Has a full 5-inch barrel. The overall length of the pistol is 8.75 inches. Weighs 2.35 pounds with an empty magazine. Pistol comes with a nice set of G10 grips. Has a fiber optic front sight and a fully adjustable rear, adjustable for both elevation and windage. It's a single action only, of course. It is in true 1911. It's got a great Parkerized finish, and because it's in 9mm and 22 TCM, has a capacity of 10+1. The list price is $891, but if you check around, you might be able to find a deal. Some of the really nice features on this pistol include this nice lightened and skeletonized trigger, nice combat hammer that's also skeletonized, ambidextrous safety, a full dust cover with tactical rail, very, very generous amount of rail out front, and even a decent mag well. This is definitely a full-featured 1911. Front fiber optic sight gives you a nice aim point. It's a 3-dot configuration with the rear, and again the rear is fully adjustable. Grip safety has a nice pronounced bump for speed and memory. G10 grips are great texture. They also have the thumb cut out, and I think that gray really complements this Parkerized finish. Okay, with 22 TCM, 10 yards. Target is a 1-inch square. Wow. So I know you really can't hear it on video, realistically, because these microphones all clip out really loud noises. So all gunshots kind of sound the same. But this thing is really, really loud. It's like a short-barreled 5.56 rifle, with a compensator. It really is loud. And the muzzle blast, you can even in broad daylight. Right now it's early afternoon, broad daylight in the summer, and I can see the muzzle flash. But what really impresses me about that when I'm shooting it, I can feel a sort of a shock wave, a concussion come back and actually like wash over my face and body as I shoot this thing. But yet, with all of that, there's no recoil. It's literally like almost like shooting a 22. As far as recoil goes, it's a very interesting juxtaposition of sensory input. Okay, 10 more rounds, same target, same distance, same everything. I like the sight picture. It's 3 dots, but that red center dot shows up beautifully on a sunny day. Front post is pretty tight in the notch. Nice. Let's go take a look at that gate. The recoil of the 22 TCM, especially in this full-sized government model 1911, is somewhere between a 22 long rifle and maybe a 380 auto, something like that. It's almost negligible. You know, obviously there is a little bit of recoil. You do feel it. You feel mostly the energy of the round, but you don't really feel any kind of recoil from the gun. There's muzzle lift and all that, but it's the impulse really feels lighter than it looks when you're shooting the gun. So one of the ballistic advantages, or at least one of the interesting ballistic qualities of the 22 TCM, is its incredible velocity and therefore incredible energy. So I've seen numbers published by Arms Corps and Rock Island Armory, but I'm going to test for myself and just take a look at the velocity of these things. So about 10 feet down range, I have a chronograph. I chose 10 feet instead of 12 just so I could keep it in the shade and make sure I get good readings. Let's review 2005, 2038, 2005, 2041, 1960, 2008, and 2005. So, what's the average? The high was 2041, the low 1960, and the average of 7, 2008. So 2008 feet per second. So going from 9mm to 22 TCM and vice versa is really as simple as doing a field strip. Okay, we're going to reuse the guide rod, but we're going to change the spring, and obviously we're going to change the barrel. So we take the barrel and spring and we set those aside, and we go to our parts bag, get out the spring and the barrel for the other caliber. In this case, we're going from 9mm to 22 TCM. Simply change the barrel and recoil spring and put the other two away. And that's it, kids. That is all there is to it. So changing the caliber is literally as easy as doing a field strip. 22 Tcm barrel is an interesting little animal because in the back it looks like a perfectly normal ramped 9mm barrel until you turn it around. When you get sideways, you see that really pronounced flare. And, ooh, look at that tiny hole in the front. So again, there's something you don't see too often in a handgun. Chamber that size in the back and exit hole that size in the front. And once you get it back together with that 22 Tcm barrel and that recoil spring, you can definitely feel the difference. That is a much lighter spring. Alright, so just like that, we've gone from 9mm to 22 Tcm. Ready for the range. Okay, just did a quick changeover to 9mm, which is easy to do out at the range or in the field or wherever. It takes just minutes. Basically, it's a field strip. You just put in a different barrel and recoil spring. So let's play a little bit with the 9mm. Not everybody can get it right when it comes to a 1911 in 9mm. But it looks to me like Rock Island Armory has gotten it right. Very right. Has a very nice feel to it. With the 9mm, it's very soft, as we'd expect. Very smooth. Wow. And it looks like it'll shoot too. So I'm about 9 yards from that target. That's a 1-inch square. Or it was a 1-inch square. There's not much of it left now. This is a sweet 9mm gun right here. That's what I'm talking about. Arms Corps and Rock Island Armory provided this 22 TCM for my evaluation and review, so I could tell you all about it. They also provided me 250 rounds of 22 TCM because they're pretty much the only ones that make this ammo. So that ensured that I could get it. So I've got 250 rounds of 22 TCM. I can't send it back. Might as well shoot it. The Rock Island Armory TCM Tack Ultra FS Combo is more than just a mouthful of words to say. It's a quality built and great shooting 1911, chambered for the Wildcat cartridge of 22 TCM, and quickly converts to 9mm. So 22 TCM is kind of a wildcat. It's kind of a novelty round at this point in time. It is a whole lot of fun to shoot, but let me tell you, it wouldn't be a whole lot of fun to shoot if the gun you were shooting it with wasn't well made. So for me, it all starts with this gun. And this gun I have found to be very good quality. This is an above average 1911 5-inch government model. It starts with a really good barrel fit. And the recoil springs I thought were really well selected for each caliber, offering perfect execution, ejection, extraction, but at the same time managing the recoil very nicely. The ambidextrous safety, just the right amount of resistance, just the right feel. I really like that. The trigger is crisp and breaks at 4.5 pounds. And finishing it off perfectly is a very nice set of sights and an excellent pair of G10 grips. Add ample rail out front and you've got yourself a very nice handgun. 250 rounds of 22 TCM and a couple hundred rounds more of 9mm. I never had a single malfunction, not even the hint of a malfunction. The gun performed flawlessly. The magazines are very well designed and made, and both of those were flawless as well. The 22 TCM seems to be more accurate at 10 yards and less than it is when you start getting out to 25 yards. I think that could be the light projectile starting to get a little bit past that initial push, maybe starting to get a little bit squirrely. I am no ballistics expert, and I'm not going to pretend to be one, so I won't try and make any wild guesses, but I did certainly find for my shooting that the 22 TCM is more accurate at self-defense distances than it is out to 25 yards. 9mm was a blast to shoot too, and this gun shoots it better than some I've tested that cost twice as much or even more. 22 TCM might be a wildcat, and it might even just be a novelty cartridge, but it sure is a lot of fun to shoot. And the fact that this gun is also a bona fide, good quality 9mm 1911 that shoots ragged hole groups, you've got a very nice pistol for way under $1,000. All right, so it may be just my opinion, but the 22 TCM, especially this 9mm and 22 TCM combo, is a very nice gun, very well priced.